Alright, this video is about answering questions, and mostly it's about a lady who calls herself Janelle09. She types, I never heard, this is on the comment section of 5 years of runaround and cops abusing their power to prevent me from turning them in. She types, I've never heard of them requiring social security numbers for any crime reported. Well, they didn't literally ask for a social security number. They asked for the birth dates and full names of, well, I don't know. That's according to Marcia Estrada. Oh, my phone is right here. According to Marcia Estrada, I have to have their birth dates. And that is just completely, that's insane. Let's take a look at what else she's saying. She typed, and don't underestimate addicts because they're not all bad people. You know what, I passed out blankets to addicts for years. I know they're not all bad people. They all do very similar stuff though, because once they start getting that into them, they become very selfish people. Some of them become very giving, but they're still selfish. And I've explained that situation plenty of times already. Whether or not they are human beings, I consider them human beings, but they're not treated like human beings, and neither am I. I'm assumed, because I'm homeless and broke, that I must be a drug addict, that I must be some sort of a terrible monster, and I am treated that way. And I can prove, and have proven, that I didn't stalk Natalie, that I was trying to get a stop put to the abuse that I've been taking. I am an at-risk adult. Alright, when I was in Boulder, Colorado, there was positivity there. I could see my loved ones, even people who were addicts. I love Desiree, but she's an addict. I love her despite her being an addict. I love Natalie, and she's an addict. And I love her despite her being an addict. And Alicia is an addict, and Maddie Boa is an addict. And Brett Roloff is an addict, and I still love them. I still love them. It says, I'm sorry you can't function, but I feel your focus on this is making it 100 times worse. No, it's not. That's the thing, is that I have to take the abuse no matter what. You think that all these black people who are being harmed in the United States should just lay down and take it? Do you think all of these disabled and homeless people who are being murdered every day should just lay down and take it? One person speaking out makes zero difference whatsoever. Many people speaking out does make a difference. She typed, I thought your sister was standing behind you. I'm sorry if that has since changed. Well, my sister was never standing behind me. When Natalie first died, Tara was ignoring me. Everyone was. And then when they realized that I didn't kill Natalie, my sister wanted to help. But my mom, my little sister, was dependent upon my mother for an income, which my mother didn't actually provide that income, and my sister was getting ready to have surgery, and I was the only person who could help her. But I got locked up, so she had to depend on my mom. Tara was cut off from helping me and prevented from doing so. And then, of course, when she went down to the courthouse to help me, she posted up, sent messages to me on this very phone right here, saying that she was followed by the cops and that someone from Colorado had threatened to harm her and my niece. That's not okay. So you guys seem to think that this all went away when Natalie Bollinger, when her killer was found. No, it didn't. The police by that point had already committed multiple felonies to try to lock me up and try to peg me as a violent person so they could frame me for Natalie Bollinger's murder. So they could make me out to be some sort of a monster, just like Natalie had done. I was the one assaulted. And that could have been prevented by somebody going in with me. All of that could have been prevented by someone going in with me, in person. Someone caring enough just to do that much. But nobody did. They wanted to tell me dismissive words. When you are being abused, telling someone they just have to love themselves, that just makes you a shitty person. And I will tell you why. Because number one, you are assuming that they don't love themselves. If they didn't love themselves, they would not be trying to get help. That's number one. Number two, that is a terrible thing to say to somebody who is trying to get help. You just need to love yourself. No, I do love myself. I'm coming to you for help. Telling me to love myself is not going to stop the threats, the harassment, or the assaults. Chris Kurth and his bullshit, that was after they found Natalie's killer. Brett Roloff is an addict. I still love him. Christine Buhit, she's dead now. She's an addict, but I still love her. Natalie Bollinger was an addict. She's dead, and I still love her. Rand Ingersoll was an addict, and she's dead, and I still love her. Quake Cox is an addict. He's dead, and I still love him. All of these people were good to me at one point in my life. Yes, it has since changed, but the other thing is I can believe that the police followed her. I can believe that wholeheartedly. I just don't believe that somebody from Colorado came all the way up to threaten her and caught her in the 5 minutes that she had between getting to Sydney and taking her daughter to her doctor's appointment. Yeah, I don't think that's very likely. There are people who claim that they were threatened and harassed, that I wholeheartedly believe that they were. Anyway, Janelle 09 types, but just as an outsider, focusing on this isn't helping your ability to function on your own. That's the thing, is that I don't have the resources to take care of myself. I can't take care of myself. It's because of these crimes that were committed against me that I can't take care of myself. It is because of all of these people harming me in real life, starting a whole year before Natalie was killed. Over a year before Natalie was killed. The threats, harassment, and assaults didn't just magically stop. The police didn't magically start being good people to me just because Natalie's killer was found. Every time another one of these web sleuth group pops up with the same bullshit, it's all fucking lies, and they want to spout it over and over and over again, and every time they do that, I get a new influx of people threatening to fucking kill me or kill my loved ones. Okay, so yeah, don't focus on it. I tell you what, if you don't focus on putting away the predators, they harm others. Clearview is a very clear example of that. That's where I was sent when I tried to turn in Waylon Lothatai. I was ignored over the mentally ill tag, and he assaulted no less than 6 other people on camera, and who knows how many off camera. Don't focus on this. I don't have a choice. That's the thing. What am I supposed to do? Do you want me to just lay down and die? Just let these people do whatever the hell they want to me for the rest of my life over slander? What these police did was slander. They slandered my name in order to have me locked up for crimes that were not committed. I can't function on my own because of the abuse. Because of the physical abuse, I cannot physically take care of myself. I cannot physically defend myself. This lady also typed, many have a traumatic past and present. And does that do anything for me whatsoever? Does it? What does that do to stop the abuse that I am continuing to endure? This has destroyed my finances. It has destroyed my ability to have a safe place. It has destroyed my ability to go see my loved ones. If you do nothing, then you get zero results. She also typed, but calling people morons for not agreeing with you, it's not calling them morons for not agreeing with me, it's calling them morons for going out of their way not to understand. Like when people say, oh, you should just get off the internet. You know what? If I get off of the internet, that is not going to stop people in real life who have been on the internet, who watch Sword and Scale, episode 109 and 110, or watch all of these other web sleuth groups about Natalie that keep on selling the same lies and the same BS. Me getting off of the internet is not going to stop those people from harming me in real life. It is not going to unsee or unhear the slander that I have been harmed over. When someone tells you that they're a computer guy and they erase an entire computer worth of evidence, I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm not going to say nice things. Now, I didn't just record what was live on here. There was a lot of times where it wasn't live. And I recorded all of that with my clandestine recording device. And it doesn't record the video, it just records audio. It shows that I put the best face on the situation that I could. It also shows that her moron friend was threatening to kill people, threatening to assault people, bragging about assaulting people. That shit is traumatic. It is a trigger for me. And then there's the fact that, yeah, he destroyed an entire computer worth of evidence. That is not an intelligent thing to do. Also, this whole autism isn't an excuse. No, it's not an excuse. That's the thing, is that you aren't going through this, Janelle09. You are not going through this. You have no clue, and I'm trying to explain to you what I am going through. The threats, the harassment, and the assaults, and the fact that I don't have a safe environment. I don't have the money to take care of myself. Because, well, there's this whole big giant pile of evidence here. We'll look at it again. I don't even know if you can see this. Let me take a look here. Yes, you see that? You see all of that? You see all of that? All of that is full of evidence. And that's just the paper evidence. And autism, that's people's excuse for harming me. That's the thing, is that I'm not harming people. I'm not assaulting people. I am not threatening to kill people. I'm having to deal with that. And somehow it's magically okay for all of these people to do these things because the cops will not do their jobs. You have no idea how many reports I have turned into the fucking cops. No idea whatsoever. Hundreds. The few times that I had access to a copy machine, I made a copy of it. Most of the time, I wasn't able to do that. She types, I know many autistic, and they don't verbally abuse anyone who doesn't agree. It's not about agreeing. I've shown the fucking evidence. If you want to argue over evidence, yes, you're a fucking moron. If someone punches me in the face, they punched me in the face. My reaction is not going to be, oh, thank you very much for punching me in the face. That is so sweet of you to threaten to kill my family. That is so sweet of you to assault me. That is so nice of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And when I go to people for help and they do things like that, it's not help. Autistic people who are habitually abused do have meltdowns. They do have triggers from that abuse. Now, if you know autistic people who are in loving environments and people are helping them out and those people actually give a shit about them, it's a different fucking story, but that's not my goddamn life. That's not the life that I live. That is not the situation that I'm in. I am not in a pretty Janelle 09 friggin' white girl environment. Let me see. She looks like a skinny blonde-haired white girl. Does that make her a bad person? No, it doesn't make her a bad person. But it means that she's probably not going to understand any of this situation. That's why I post up evidence. But does she get on one where I'm actually showing the evidence, or does she get one where I'm explaining the situation? I'm literally explaining a situation that I have just recorded 2 videos of those events happening, of me calling these people, like, what? Autism is people's excuse to harm me because I am different. Do you have any idea how many autistic people are killed every year by cops just for stimming? Do you even know what stimming is? The homeless and the disabled account for the 2 largest groups of people murdered by the police. The 2 largest groups. The homeless and the disabled. That's number 1 and number 2. Per capita, if there were 60 million homeless people, which is how many disabled people there are and how many black people there are, approximately in the United States, 22% of those killed by police in 2019 were black. 51% of those killed in 2019 by the police were disabled. Both of those 60 million population. 49% of those killed by the police, 49% were homeless out of a population of only 500,000. That's 1/120th the size of the disabled population. 1/120th the size of the black population. It's not a matter of fucking agreeing. I'm showing the facts. I do make these calls. I have tried. The abuse doesn't stop. That's the problem. When you are assaulted by a cop and charged with assaulting a police officer when you were the one that was assaulted, that situation never would have happened if the people that I had gone to who said that they were going to help had actually helped. Instead, they threw me out. After my face is all over Denver news, I get thrown out in fucking Denver. They hadn't even announced that Natalie was dead yet at this point. I mean, no, my sister wasn't standing behind me. She typed, I have 3 diagnoses and don't do that. You know what? I tell you what, if people are threatening to kill you and you're homeless and they have made you a target for everyone in the city that you live in, and you are broke and all of your money is gone, and people are assaulting you and threatening to kill you, yeah, you're definitely not going to be happy. You're definitely not going to be talking nice, especially if the police keep blowing you off and have blown you off for over a year over all of the threats, harassment, and assaults that you've already endured. Janelle 09 is not a saint. I guarantee that. She is not the Almighty God. She is not Jesus. She's not perfect. And neither am I. And I am allowed to get frustrated. People wanted to be frustrated at me that didn't know anything about the situation, just like Janelle 09 doesn't know anything about the situation. And if people look it up, what are they going to find in these web sleuth groups? What are they going to find from Sword and Scale? What are they going to find from Rob Gavigan? They're going to find a shit ton of slander. That same slander is the slander I've been abused over. I can't defend myself. I'm not allowed, even if I were physically or mentally capable of doing so. It is just too much. If you've been raped over and over and you've gone to your friends for help getting the rapes to stop, and this person and their friends are the ones who are committing these crimes against you, it's a heinous crime. It is a horrible crime. And when you go to your friends and they say you just need to love yourself, you know how dismissive that is? You need help stopping the abuse. You need help stopping these predators who are stalking you, and you're being told you just need to love yourself. You're constantly looking over your shoulder because your predators are still free. Waylon Lolatai is still free. 2 of the officers who assaulted me, well, just a couple months later they killed Dmitry Shankling. That's what happens when your predators are allowed to get away. They do it to others. They do it to others, and they do it to you as well. She also typed, you need to file police reports with state or county police instead. Holy shit, lady. You have any idea how many phone calls on my channel are with the state police? Do you have any idea how many of these phone calls are with the only county police there is Scott DaCosta. That's the only county police that there is in Dual County. I can't even turn him in because I'm not allowed at the courthouse. And you want me to move again and again and again. I have moved over 40 times since Natalie Bollinger was killed, all right? Stop with the moving thing. Stop with the you just need to move on. Stop with the you need to just let it go, because these people who are harming me have not let it go. The slander was allowed in my court dates. Slander that has repeatedly been used as an excuse to harm me because I was not allowed even to go to those court dates, and that is against the law. But sure, Janelle09, you know what the hell you're talking about, don't you? I don't care what diagnoses you have. Abusing someone is wrong. It is not wrong to scream for help. And when it comes to dead people, if I have to curse to put emphasis on it because I wasn't heard the first 300 times that I made phone calls and didn't curse, so be it. So I cursed. Oh no! At least I didn't kill anyone. And I am cursing because people are dead because I have not been heard. It says, clearly the local are not willing to help as they've already labeled you a certain way. None of them are. That's what all of these calls are about. None of them are. I tried to turn in Scott DaCosta in 2018. 2018. It is now 2022. Where else am I going to go? You want me to live homeless and disabled? Is that what you want? Because I can't do it. Not like this. As a homeless community in Boulder, we worked together. That's the only way any of us survived. Yes, I have called the state police. There are no county police in Dual County. It's just the Dual County Sheriff's Department. That's it. And I have explained this over and over and over again. There are no county police. There are no police whatsoever in Dual County. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. She types, it would probably be best to move. Oh my God. See, Bart, how did I know that was coming? See, because I didn't read this whole thing before I popped it up to answer it. I only got through the first paragraph. It says, let's see, it would probably be best to move away if you could and just let this all go for your own sanity. I would love to move away. I have court on the 4th. All right? The very few people that I know that I have a connection with are in Chapel, Nebraska or Boulder, Colorado. I have moved all over the United States and had to stay with addicts who are volatile. Maybe they're not all bad people. I didn't say they were bad people. But the things that were going on at Brett Roloff's and the things that were going on at Shannon Alvarado's, those are not help. That doesn't help me. All of that yelling and screaming, yes, it freaks me the fuck out. Meanwhile, it's okay for these people to scream, but not okay for me. No. No. That is not equality. And just let it all go for your own sanity. You know what? You don't get to let it go when shit like this happens. The only chance that you have of being treated like a human being is to show the truth and get the help that you need to stop it. I am an at-risk adult. I am a dependent adult who doesn't have anyone to depend on except drug addicts. I've called the state police, I've called the FBI, I've called all of these places, and you know what? I've yelled at most of them. Especially if I am in an environment that is scary as hell. Yes, I called the FBI while I was at Brett Roloff's. And they called the police there and told them that I was trying to kill myself, which is an outright fucking lie. That's the kind of bullshit that cops pull when you try to tell on bad cops. They try to have you locked away on suicide watch, and you know what? Brett Roloff was there for that. It is recorded. It is on my YouTube channel. Those cops, if Brett Roloff, the addict, had not come out of the house and spoken for me, those cops would have taken me to Abingdon and locked me up and forced me into a panic attack and a meltdown and then drugged me for having a fucking meltdown. You have to separate me from my loved ones and my ability to communicate in order for me to have a meltdown that bad. And all I was trying to do was turn in my predators. As long as they're free, they can do it again. I mean, look at Robert Warnick. He threatened to shoot me. He threatened to assault me. Claimed that it was just a joke that he was threatening to shoot me. No, he was dead fucking serious. What the hell is a felon, a registered sex offender like Robert Warnick, doing with a firearm? Now there's people who have offered to let me move there, and you know what? One of them, he calls himself Iron Horse, and the first time he was gonna, right when I was getting ready to move, he ghosted me for like 3 months. Then he got back a hold of me and said that he was in jail, and now he's ghosted me again. But he offered me a second time that I could go down there, but you know, if I can't get a hold of him, how's that gonna work? Meanwhile, I have court on the 4th. You want me to just run away from court? She typed, we all deserve happiness. You know what? That's right. And we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That doesn't guarantee that we're going to get it. But this is no kind of life. She types, life isn't easy. You know what? That's just a general statement. It's not any kind of assistance or help. And keep my head up. That's not advice either. I'm sure Janelle09 didn't mean anything offensive by that. I am sure that she wasn't trying to be dismissive of what's been going on. But that seems to be a lot of people's opinion that aren't going through it. Things always get worse before they get better. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I may not get there with you." But you know what? It wasn't just him that the man was worried about. It was also his people, and his people included all of us. He didn't just fight for black rights, he fought for all of our rights, for equal rights, for human rights, for civil rights. And that's what I'm fighting for. Actual rights for the disabled, actual rights for the homeless. At least she didn't type, "You need to get off the internet." Me getting off of the internet won't stop people in Chapel, Nebraska from doing the things that they've been doing. It won't stop the people in Washington State from doing the things that they're doing. It won't stop the people in Virginia from doing the things that they're doing. I have been all over the country trying to get help. Nearly all these places I end up protecting children. I'm supposed to be there for help, and here I am protecting children. And that's the right thing to do. I have been to jail on more than one occasion since Natalie was killed for trying to do something about child abuse. A lot of parents, they say, "I'm not afraid to go to prison for my child." Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. Many of those parents are the ones abusing their kids. I guess she wrote something else to me, but let's read what I wrote to her. Let's see, I wrote, "Ma'am, I take the abuse everywhere I go. My sister is not behind me. I'll send you the links to the messages she sent me." That's right, my sister was letting me know that she was being followed by the cops and somebody threatened to harm her and my niece if she helped me out anymore. I typed, "I know not all addicts are bad people. Matter of fact, I passed out blankets to many addicts and was friends with many, including Desiree, Brett, Quake, Christine, Alicia, Natalie, and many more. I get verbally abused often." And see, that's the thing, is that the verbal abuse isn't that horrible. It's people threatening to kill me and not following through. People threatening to assault me. People actually assaulting me. That's the problem. See, I get verbally abused on the internet all the time. I can handle that. I can block people on the internet. How do you block Robert Warnick? When you're walking down the street and he tries to run you over with his vehicle and pulls it out in front of you. I typed, "I get verbally abused often, and when I could walk away, I always did." That's right. When Natalie's situation in Virginia happened, I was able to leave, so I did. But it followed me. It followed me to the only safe place that I had, and that was Boulder, Colorado. That was the only place where I had a real support network. It also says, I typed, "I don't call people morons for not agreeing with me. I call them morons for doing stupid crap, for playing stupid, for looking the other way, and for throwing dismissive and assumptive crap like 'you just gotta love yourself' at me. When you need to turn in people who are threatening to kill you, kill your friends and family, who are assaulting you and harassing you, you need help in person to turn it in as a homeless and disabled male. It assumes I don't love myself, and it doesn't stop the abuse. If I didn't love myself, I wouldn't be trying to get help to stop the abuse. How do you let living in hell go? Your assumptions are devoid of facts or reason. And see, that's the thing about her coming in on this video. There's a lot of videos full of evidence and proof and phone calls, and you know what? It wasn't just phone calls. I wrote reports too. I wrote a lot of stuff that I sent through emails to these officers. I sent actual evidence to these officers through those emails, and they claimed they couldn't see it, but I sent it to other people. Like Mandy Hughes. Mandy Hughes was able to see it. Mandy Singer was able to see it. Why does it magically not able to be seen by the cops? Now, that's not saying that this lady, Janelle 09, is a bad person. I mean, obviously she's not trying to be a dick. She's not going out of her way to be a douchebag. She's not saying these things to be mean. She just doesn't understand how dismissive they are of the actual situation. I typed, they didn't actually ask for a social security number. They asked for the date of birth. How would I know any of their birthdays? I also gave her 2 links from my sister on this YouTube channel from the messages that she was sending me. And I typed, would you tell Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. not to focus? How about the Jesus? Mind you, the only time the Jesus is mentioned inside a temple, he was overturning tables and chasing people with a whip. The computer guy Tara brought wiped an entire computer worth of evidence. Let it go? What the fuck is wrong with you? And of course, I'm not trying to be a complete and total douchebag at this point, but it is very heated. It is. She is not understanding of the situation. The abuse is ongoing. I have to be afraid everywhere that I go. And I have to be afraid of people harming my loved ones, including loved ones that I am very unhappy with right now, like Laura Nelson. But you're goddamn right. If people were harming Laura Nelson, if people were threatening to kill Laura Nelson or her son, I would be there immediately. If she said, hey Sean, I need a hero, I would be there immediately. If Alicia Bollinger called me right now and said, Sean, I need you to come to Colorado, I need a rescue, I would show up. And yeah, I'd be paranoid that it's probably a trick, and I would speak about it on my YouTube channel, but I would still go. I typed, I'm still going through it, and so are many others in this country. You ever try to walk away from a man in a car throwing a beer bottle at you? You ever try to walk away from guards assaulting you? You ever try to walk away from a fist coming at your face? I have repeatedly tried to file police reports with the states and counties. I was trying to turn one in to NSP, that's Nebraska State Patrol, when Scott DaCosta assaulted me in December of 2020. They were telling me, it's not our job to police the police, you have to turn it in to Scott DaCosta. You got to turn it in to the Dual County Sheriff's Department. He's the sheriff of Dual County Sheriff Department. So I try to turn it into Dual County Sheriff's Department. They tell me that I gotta call the Nebraska State Patrol because they can't investigate themselves. Nebraska State Patrol tells me that I gotta call the Dual County Sheriff's Department, and back and forth and back and forth. I mean, literally for years. I tried. You're giving me suggestions of things that I have tried already hundreds of times. How many times do I have to go through that before I have a meltdown? And yeah, when you're being abused like this, and you're separated from your loved ones, and you're separated from the help that you need, yes, anybody would fucking have a mental fucking breakdown. Anyone. They're using autism as their excuse to harm me, to try to discredit me like I am too mentally retarded to know what's going on. Like I am too mentally retarded to know what assault feels like. I grew up in the system. I had grown men shove their cocks up my asshole. I know what assault is. Now they keep trying to use the mentally ill tag to justify their crimes or to pretend that I'm imagining them. I typed, I have repeatedly tried to file police reports with the states and counties. I was trying to turn one into Nebraska State Patrol when Scott DaCosta assaulted me in December of 2020. Your assumptions are completely devoid of facts. And that's the thing about my YouTube channel. Yes, there are many where I'm speaking about the situation because I have to try to dig through all this evidence. Most of the time I'm talking about evidence that I've already posted on my YouTube channel. It's already up here. It's already stuff that people can see. That right there, that's from my last visit to the hospital. This one right here is from my friend Chelsea. I've got more in here and more on the internet. She types, I'm sorry she is no longer behind you. I had asked in regards to the last video I had seen, and not sure why I've upset you so badly. Well, see, I didn't used to be like this. I didn't. It's the fact that it's long-term abuse. It's been going on for 5 years. It's not a matter of hatred. It's a matter of starting over from scratch every time. And I try to answer people's questions as best that I can, but I spend a lot of time by myself, and it hurts me because I have to constantly look around me. I went up to the mountains in Washington State twice to try to get away from everybody and just dig a hole and forget the world exists. One of those times, Andrew Witcher's girlfriend or wife, Amy Witcher, called me because she needed somebody to watch the kids because she had finally kicked Andrew out. She also had another guy that she really liked, and she was going to try hooking up with him, and she needed somebody to help watch the kids. So I turned around from Washington State and drove almost all the way back to Nebraska before she let me know that Andrew's meth head ass was being fucking freaky and threatening to call CPS. It's your bad assumptions that upset me, and it's the fact that everybody's got those assumptions rather than looking at the evidence. That's the reason I post up the evidence, so that people don't continually do this. You should do this and you should do that. I don't need advice. I don't need your advice. I need your help. I didn't post this up to have 10,000 people tell me to love myself. I didn't post this up to have a whole bunch of people type dismissive things. Whether it's meant to be offensive or not, the fact is that it is entirely dismissive. She types, someone merely asking questions or suggesting that it's not good for you makes you very angry, which makes those who support you no longer want to, which is sad. That's the thing, is that people are allowed to scream at me, they're allowed to yell at me, and these suggestions, I've already heard these suggestions 1,000 times, easily. Why don't you just move on? That is what you guys do to every single homeless person. You want them to just move on. That situation in Tacoma, they want all of these homeless people, one of their suggestions is to force all of these homeless people into work camps. Fritz Saukel did that in World War II, and we hung him for it, just so you know. If you don't know who Fritz Saukel is, well, you probably didn't have any ancestors in concentration camps, or work camps, or forced labor camps. It's not anger, it's frustration at the misunderstanding, and that's why I show the evidence. How can anybody misunderstand the evidence? Meanwhile, I can't show it all. She typed, I felt I wasn't rude at all in my comment, but it was clearly taken as a direct attack. No, it's taken as dismissive, and it's different. It's not taken as a direct attack, it's taken as dismissive. Just like telling someone who's being abused every day that they just need to love themselves. They came to you for help, right? Did they come to you for help for you to dismiss them, or to get help stopping the abuse? And this channel is not just about me. She also typed, and MLK is dead, so don't think I can tell him anything. You know what? That's entirely dismissive as well. She's going out of her way to miss the point at that point. The point of Martin Luther King is not that he's dead. The point is that he used his voice, and it did affect change, although, honestly, not nearly as much change as Malcolm X, who was born in Omaha, Nebraska, by the way. How many of y'all knew that? Malcolm X was Nebraskan. She also typed, and I never said you should just let it go. Well, most people do. And telling me to move on, or move along, or move somewhere else is pretty much the same thing. But, well, we have to understand that it is not saying the same thing, and I am acknowledging that. It is not saying the same thing. There's the fact that you just don't get to. It's the way that she worded this all up here. She types, I'm sorry you can't function, but I feel your focus on this is making it 100 times worse. My focus on the abuse, my focus on the fact that it's still happening, my focus on the fact that this happens not just to me, but to many others. As an outsider, that's the most important part to remember of what she's typing. She is an outsider. Now she typed, and I never said you should just let it go. I know things aren't that easy, and I have multiple diagnoses, and it's easier said than done. What I had said was I feel it isn't helping you and only hurting. There's a difference, and wasn't trying to argue. I support you and commend you for standing up in regards to the Natalie Bollinger case. I've just noticed the emotional and mental toll it has taken, sir. That's all. You know what? It took this emotional and mental toll before Natalie was killed. Before Natalie was killed, I was separated from my support network. Before Natalie was killed, I was separated from being able to see the positive loved ones in my life. Being assaulted repeatedly takes its toll, and you can't expect someone to smile all the time with that going on. So this isn't a matter of hatred, obviously. It's not me trying to say that Janelle09 is a bad person. It's not saying anything even close. It's saying people need to listen to understand, not to respond. If you're going to respond, you need to respond with action, speaking up about the abuse. If you don't do that, the predators get away and they get to do it again and again and again. Maybe to you, maybe to someone else.